All right, you wanted to look at the Alice Chambers,
yep.
The orange ones?
Yeah, these here, I was just going to show you everybody these are basically the same tractor. But what they call them is this one right here with the wide fenders go over the top. They call that an unstyled. That pretty much what means it's not as fancy. That fancy. It's basically just a work tractor. When you get into the other one, that's a styled. That means everything, corners are a little more rounded, looks more modern. So basically, you've got the unstyled, and I call them the styled tractors. Basically the same tractor, and I'd imagine there was probably a little bit of price difference, but I'm not sure how much. But you could probably get in the unstyled probably a little cheaper than the other one, the styled tractors. And that goes with a lot of the tractors we have in here. I know John Deere went the styled and unstyled, but that's just what's so unique about these here. And if you zoom in here, you can actually see they basically got the same texture down the hood. But as you can tell, everything on this one's kind of flat, not that rounded, fenders and all. Then you go to this one, and they kind of snazzed everything up a little bit.
Yeah.
Made the fenders kind of look more modern, and that kind of caught a lot of people's eye. Probably, you know, they're all going to work, but probably they did that same as they do on cars. The more things are on a car, it attracts you to spend more money. So that's probably why they probably did that, to kind of get a richer person,
yeah,
to buy.
So you'd use this on your back 40 and the fancier one up next to the road.
Well, just depends on I guess if you had a farm girl down the road you liked, maybe you'd drive the real nice one on the day you wanted to pick her up or something. I don't know. Maybe she'd like the old unstyled. Hard to tell, but I'd imagine that was probably in on the conversation too.
Maybe she'd be practical and
yep, she might be old school or new school, or
save the money and buy her a ring instead.
Yep. Oh yeah, that'd probably work too. It always does.
Now, one thing that people aren't familiar with tractors and farm equipment, you got little things covering up the stacks. Yeah,
and actually this tractor here, the unstyled, hand crank only. You had to have your pretty nice arm on there to crank that thing around in the front right here.
And hopefully it won't break your arm.
This one here, you could do it either way. You could hand crank it, but you had the starter. So this is the newer tractor of the old unstyled. So it kind of, next model year it went to this one here. So instead of breaking the wrist on it to crank it, that kind of made it a little more easier when they wanted to jump on it in cold days or whatever and go do something or any time. Yeah. They didn't have to use the old hand crank here. So, and
now the exhaust, that has to be protected from rain.
Yeah, actually, he put that on there. You get he's got the flapper on too. It don't seat real good, but if you let water get down in there, 9 times out of 10 you ain't gonna have an issue with it. If you get water, it collects down this manifold there, and it goes in the wrong part of the head, chance you could destroy a piston. Yeah. So basically, you want to be secure and do that. But that guy's double securing on that. He's got both things. But if anyone's got a tractor there, just make sure you always keep that stack covered with something. If you want to let it sit outside.
Whether it's a pop can or a soup can or an old...
It could be anything. Usually they use a pop can, cut the bottom out of it. Or just buy a flap and that'll take care of it. The flap sits down straight.